Welcome back to the UFC Pros Pick Show. I am James Lynch. He is Nick Kalikas. And of course, we're joined by James Krause, coach extraordinaire, fighter, everything. He does it all. Before we get into previewing today's, this weekend, I should say, is UFC Columbus card, make sure you sign up for BetDSI. Use the promo code UFC. That's the odds we're going to be referencing here today. You get the signed James Krause photo. You get the match deposit bonus. It's really an awesome deal. Let's quickly talk about last week. Nathaniel Wood didn't end up fighting, so a lot of us, our bets didn't end up going through. I did have the Gunnar Nelson by submission prop. I thought he was going to get it. It didn't end up happening. Credit to Sato for lasting that long. A bit of a weird card last week, but a really phenomenal card as well. If you haven't watched UFC London, I mean, of course you watch UFC London. If you're watching the show, what am I talking about? Let's get right into UFC Columbus, though. Really exciting main event. It's another heavyweight main event. It's Curtis Blaydes taking on Chris Daukaus. And right now on BetDSI, Curtis Blaydes minus 400. The comeback on Chris Daukaus plus 309. Nick, we'll start with you first. What have you seen sort of line movement wise? Because I feel like the Blaydes line has gone up a bit.
Yeah, it opened at minus 300, and now what you're seeing out there market wide is obviously closer to minus 400, 350s, 380s out there, almost minus 400 is kind of trending in that direction. So the market is favoring Blaydes here. The parlays, of course, are coming in his way. That's not a surprise. Anytime you get a minus 400 favorite, everybody's going to look to parlay that as well. So yeah, the action is coming in on Blaydes, and there's some sharp action that's coming in that way as well. It's not all square action that's just trying to take a shot at this parlay or whatnot. So there's respectable opinions on the Blaydes side so far early on.
Krause, who are you liking in the main event?
I mean, I think it's everybody's going to be on the Blaydes side. This is a great example for me though. Like if from a betting perspective, if you want to play Blaydes, you can hedge a little bit of it by going Daukaus by knockout, which I'm sure you're going to be like plus 400, 500. You're going to get some really good odds, maybe even more than that. You're going to get some really good odds there. You can hedge some of that if you want. But obviously, I think that the play is Blaydes. But I mean, if Daukaus, Blaydes has been knocked out before. So if you're going to play Daukaus by knockout, I think that's the only way he's going to win this fight. I don't see him winning a decision. So yeah, if you're going to play, obviously Blaydes is going to be the play, but it's super chalky. So you're either going to put him in parlays or you're going to try to prop him, Blaydes by submission, Blaydes by decision, which on that side, it's a little bit more difficult. But if Daukaus wins, it's probably going to be on the knockout side.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Nick, who are you liking here?
Yeah, exactly what James Krause just said. I think if Daukaus wins, it's by knockout. So if you're going to play Daukaus, just play him by knockout, because I don't think he's going to be able to win by decision here. How's he going to decision Blaydes, right? I don't think the fight's going to stay up 5 rounds and they're going to point fight back and forth, right? Blaydes is going to take this fight to the ground. He's going to do what he does best. He's going to grind him out. He's going to land that ground and pound. I honestly don't think it lasts. I don't think Daukaus can withstand 5 rounds of ground and pound from Blaydes. I understand that Blaydes is typically a grinder, and that's kind of the way he goes about his business, and maybe not gets a finish more times than not. But in this case, I just don't like the experience factor on the Daukaus end. I don't think he could go in deep waters and last underneath that. So I do like Blaydes. I think he gets it done probably inside the distance by ground and pound. But I do, again, agree with Krause. If you're going to bet Daukaus, it's by knockout.
I understand Blaydes being minus 400 based off the opponents he's fought and the experience. And you look at who he's got knocked out by, Lewis and Francis Ngannou twice. Not bad losses, so to speak. But I do think the line's a little high here, only because Daukaus is a young, up-and-coming head. I shouldn't say young, actually. He's older than Blaydes, but you know what I mean? Young in the UFC. Yeah. He's very fast. He could catch Blaydes. I completely agree with both of you. If Daukaus wins this fight, it will be by knockout. Now, I'm curious to see how Blaydes wins this fight, because he's won a lot of his last couple fights by decision. He hasn't had a TKO finish in a while. Although the wrestling is what's really going to determine this fight. If Blaydes can get those takedowns and grind him out like we've seen him in the past and get the TKO finish, I think that's a possibility. But I also like Blaydes by decision at plus 250. I mean, again, I know he should probably win this fight, but don't put it past Chris Daukaus maybe surviving here. But it's honestly a guess, because Chris Daukaus typically does not leave the first or second round when it comes to his fights. So you're kind of weighing a little bit there. But I like Blaydes in this fight. Again, I think it's a bit too much of a step up here for Daukaus. Even though I thought he looked good early on in the Derek Lewis fight, I still think that Blaydes, should win this fight. He's a very good fighter, and despite what people say about him getting knocked out by Lewis and Francis Ngannou. And just quickly, I did interview both these fighters on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/LynchOnSports. So you can check out interviews with Blaydes and Daukaus if you want some more insight into the fight. But I'm liking Blaydes here, but minus 400, a little too steep for my liking. Maybe you look at one of those props instead. Let's get to the co-main event. Interesting fight here in the flyweight division. We've got Alexa Grasso taking on Joanne Wood. By the way, I still see books calling her Calderwood. It's Wood. You got to get rid of the Calder there. Alexa Grasso, minus 238. The comeback on Joanne Wood, plus 200. Nick, what do you see in line movement-wise going into this one?
Well, again, Grasso opened a favorite, solid favorite around minus 180 or so. Now she's been bet up to a minus 225, minus 250s out there, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people, I think, because of the popularity of Wood. We all know she's kind of a household name in female MMA, right? She's been around for a while. I mean, she deserves to get the attention that she gets. Recently married, of course, that's why the name change or whatnot too. So she's been around for a long time, and she's a high-level fighter, no doubt. But I just don't think that she's in her prime right now. And Grasso, on the other hand, is kind of trending in the other direction, right? She is improving fight by fight. We see her kind of on the rise. So I understand her being a favorite, and I understand why the action's coming in on her as well. So I do like the Grasso side early on, and I think the action is right.
Krause, who you liking here?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything both of you guys have said. My only rebuttal to that would be I have seen Wood come out and just like really look like really good sometimes. You know, like I feel like it's I struggle with my opinion on is like I know people have say her stock is going down, but I struggle. Is it a consistency problem or is it a going down problem? You know, I don't know. Like I have seen her look really good in fights, and that kind of scares me a little bit. But once again, I feel like the play here is going to be Grasso. You know, put her if you don't like the chalk, throw in the parlays. You know, a Grasso Blaydes parlay might not be a bad idea. That's probably a good play, to be honest with you. But yeah, it scares me a little bit, but the side to be on is probably the Grasso side. But even with that, I have seen Joanne come out and look really good before.
And we got to point out, Wood has fought the better opposition at flyweight, right? Joanne Wood used to be a strawweight like Grasso. They both moved up. Grasso coming off the win and a bit of a layoff against Macy Barber in her last fight, which she decisively won. But I mean, going from Macy Barber to Joanne Wood is a bit of a jump here. Now, people will also look on the resume of Joanne Wood, a lot of first-round finishes. Those are all submissions. Alexa Grasso, not typically known to submit her opponents early or anything like that, so I wouldn't worry about that in this fight. I think the play here is, and I'll tell you my pick in a sec, but the play here is the fight goes the distance. Neither of these women get finished very easily. Wood does, but by submission. I don't think Grasso's that type of ground specialist that's going to take her out in the first round. I could see a situation where this does go into deep waters and it's only 3 rounds. I think that's the play here. Saying that, I'm going to pick Grasso, younger, I think a bit more on the upside. And it's kind of a tale of two fighters where I think Woods had so many opportunities. Like, remember, she had the title shot against Valentina. She opted to take another fight instead. She loses that. Then she loses against Murphy. Like, it's been a bit of a tough go for her. And at her age, she's probably not going to get another opportunity like this. And Grasso, I think, has found new life in a new weight class. Remember, there was a point in her career where people are kind of implying, a bit of a bust, but she's moved up and has looked better there. So the pick's going to be Alexa Grasso. But I think if you're going to play this, and you might not get great value there, is the fight goes to the decision prop. But like Krause said, maybe you parlay that with something else on the card. But definitely liking Alexa Grasso in this fight. Okay, prop bet of the week. Let's go with that. Krause, what are you liking here?
What I say last week, I said Nelson over 1.5 rounds.
Yeah,
right.
You did.
Let's go. I don't feel as great about this one, but let's go Brown Barberina over 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You can even probably get a little bit better money and go the distance. I see this fight going the distance. Both these guys have a relatively low volume, and both of them are extremely durable. I could see some takedowns, getting them tired early. Let's say it goes the distance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go. Nick, what are you liking here prop wise?
Well, we hit last week the main event under, right? I mean, what a beautiful performance, by the way, from Aspinall finishing that fight like he did. I mean, it was phenomenal, right? So we did hit that under. I think this fight goes under as well. So if you're looking to parlay something, it's around minus 300. There's, minus 245 out there as well that I've seen. The fight doesn't go the distance for this main event. Again, Blaydes and Daukaus, I just don't trust the Daukaus side of things more than anything. And if Blaydes loses, it's probably going to be early anyway. It's going to be by knockout, right? So I don't think this fight hits a scorecard. So if you're looking for something to parlay, I think that's it, around minus 300-ish or whatever. This fight does not go the distance. I think that's the way to go here.
I like both those, by the way. I was tempted to go Blaydes by decision at plus 250 because, if you look at Blaydes, typically he does win by decision. But like Nick pointed out, how's Chris Daukaus going to look if this goes past, a couple rounds? So that's a bit of a worry there. I think I'm still going to play it anyways, but my official prop bet of the week is one that Krause alluded to there. I like the over in the Barberina and Matt Brown fight. Barberina pretty durable. Matt Brown still packs a punch. He can still knock you out, but Barberina is not a super easy guy to put away. So I think that could definitely hit, but me, I like to get closer to plus money. So the other over I like is the over in the Neil Magny and Max Griffin fight. Really interesting matchup. Again, Magny's the favorite and he's the ranked opponent as opposed to Griffin, but you saw Max Griffin beat a pretty tall, lanky welterweight in his last fight in Carlos Condit. So I could see this fight going kind of back and forth. It depends what type of fight we're going to see, if Neil can bring it in his world or not, if Max can use that aggression we've seen in the last couple fights. But I think that one goes the distance too. So again, you parlay both of those. I think you're getting some decent value. And that way you're not having to worry if, let's say Griffin has a breakout performance, or, let's say Barberena gets it done over Brown, or Brown, can get it done too. So I think that's a safer bet here. So the over in both those fights, you're getting closer to plus money. So I like both of those plays there. Bet of the week. Nick, we'll start with you first.
I got to go with Gutierrez here. I mean, I understand. I like Batigral as well. I think he's been phenomenal, but at the plus money, I think this is going to be more of a toss-up fight. So if you're getting plus 130, plus 140 on either fighter here, you got to go for it, because I think, again, Gutierrez is the more technical striker here. I think this fight does play out on the feet, and I think he can outpoint Batigral along the way, possibly utilizing those leg kicks and the combinations that he does put together very well, and maybe get a finish. But if not, I think he wins on the scorecard. So at plus money, I think Gutierrez is the way to go here.
I like that play. That was actually something I was thinking of, but I was like, hey, you know what? Go for it, Nick, because I don't know why he's the underdog here. He's fought better opposition. Batgirl's a guy that's normally knocking people out. Gutierrez, I don't think he's never been finished in the UFC, so that's something to look at. Krause, what do you like in here for the bet of the week?
Completely agree with that one. That's something I'm going to be playing fairly large as well. I like that play a lot. My play of the week is going to be David Dvorak. I think he's one of the better flyweights, tall. He's very well-rounded, great cardio. I think his length is going to give Nikolai a lot of problems. I know, just judging off of the research that I did with getting him ready for Tim was giving him some issues at range, and I think Dvorak obviously fights much longer than Tim does. So I see him giving him some issues in the striking, and you could even go a step further, and I think Dvorak will win by decision. So I'm just going to stay safe. I think it's at like minus 140-ish, somewhere right now. I'll pay the juice just in case he clips him. You know what I mean? But I think I like David Dvorak a lot.
Yeah, that one's I took a look at. I think it's interesting because Nikolau's obviously fought a lot of really good opponents throughout his career. I think he sort of has the edge there, but you're right. Dvorak certainly looks like the real deal. We'll sort of see how that unfolds on Saturday. I'm going a little chalky this week, guys. It's been a rough couple of weeks, but I think I'm Mano Furio. Really love her as a flyweight. I think she is probably the best prospect in that weight class. She's got some serious power. She's a big favorite against Jennifer Maia. Maia's no slouch either. I mean, you look at who she's fought and who she's losing to. It's the top of the top in terms of competition. I love that fight before between Furio and Jessica Ai. I was like, that's a tailor-made matchup for Furio, but I'm going to take her, but not with that chalky price. I'm going to parlay her with Alexa Grasso. I think Grasso does get it done here. I'm of the belief that I think Wood is kind of on the decline at this point. You parlay that, you're getting a little bit closer to plus money there. If you want to be a little bit greedy, maybe you throw in a Curtis Blaydes. I think Blaydes probably wins, but again, Chris Daukaus has knockout power. We'll see, but that's going to be the play here. Grasso and Furio in a parlay and put them together. You're getting a little bit better value there. Again, closer to plus money would be what I'm going to go with this week. Look, I know you guys love doing that. We've been doing the longer shows over the last little bit, but the reason we're doing this a little bit earlier is because our schedules are crazy this week. So bear with us. Next week, we'll go back to doing sort of the regular, extra fights that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. Make sure all of you sign up for BetDSI. That's the book we referenced here today. Use the promo code UFC. You get the match deposit bonus and the signed photo from James Krause. For myself, for Nick Kalikas, and for James Krause, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week, talking about some futures because there's no UFC card next Saturday. So we'll see you then, and hope everyone enjoys the card this Saturday.